Popco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we are brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for our inbox segment. Your email questions answered here on video. And Barry, it's all Sooners all the time today. Lots of Sooner fans getting in touch with us after what happened last Saturday. Let's start with Isaiah. He says, do you think staff changes may be made this offseason by Bob Stoops, something you wrote a little bit about in your column for Sunday?
I think the answer is yes. I think, Bob has set the precedent after the 11th season, after the 12th season. You know what? I'm not gonna stand pat, and I think he's ready to do it again. You know, I bet it was pretty contentious in the OU meeting room on Sunday morning when the coaches reviewed the film. I don't know who might get the axe, but I think Bob's in the mood to take some change, to make some changes and take some steps that would signify, hey, this isn't acceptable.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And, you know, Bob Stoops, I mean, I know some fans might hope that this was different, but Bob Stoops isn't going anywhere. His job is secure. Now, fans may be frustrated with him. I get that. Some of his bosses may be frustrated with where the program is right now. I would get that too. But OU, if they go a different direction, could do tons worse than Bob Stoops. So he's not going anywhere. But the way that you regenerate your program and sort of get that new blood sometimes is change on the coaching staff. I don't know who it might be. I don't see him firing his brother. I don't see him firing Josh Heupel, but I guess maybe some of those other assistants. I don't know where it could be, but you know what? It was a little surprising a couple years ago, the changes they made, so I guess anything's possible. All right, back to the inbox. Warren says, Bob Stoops needs to move on and let Cody Thomas play out the season. Goodness gracious, Barry.
This is one of the annual mantras that you hear from OU fans every time the season goes sour. 1 is fire the coach, 2 is fire the offensive coordinator, 3 is bench the quarterback, and 4 is bench the quarterback, not because he deserves to be benched, but play for next season. It's a terrible strategy for this reason. When you start playing people who aren't the best, you lose your team. You lose your credibility. I don't think Bob Stoops has lost his credibility with his team. But Trevor Knight's the better quarterback right now. Now, if he's hurt, Cody Thomas gets to play. You know, we saw that in the Kansas State game, good solid series when he replaced Knight for one possession. So that's different. But just to say, you know what, we're going forward and seeing what Cody Thomas can do, no. You need to play the best player. Yeah,
I agree with that. And you know what? Cody Thomas, if he gets to play a significant time at Texas Tech, we still haven't heard at this taping what Trevor Knight's availability might be for the weekend. But, you know, if he goes out there and plays well and suddenly the offense is reborn and rejuvenated and, you know, looks entirely different, you know, maybe there would be reason to say he is the best guy to play. But just to, you know, out of hand say, you know, we're going to make a quarterback change because we can, or, you know, the season is a 3-loss season at best at this point. I don't think that's the way to go. These guys will have a chance in the spring and the fall. If they're better than Trevor Knight, they'll get a chance to show that in a lot of different ways. And Cody Thomas is going to get, I think, a chance at Tech to at least play some snaps and show what he can do. I liked what I saw against K-State. It was limited time. But if he's the guy they're building a game plan around, it'll be interesting to see just how he responds to all of that. All right, back to the inbox from David. He says, are we seeing the same thing that happened to the Longhorns a few years back happening to OU? Comfortable coach, a few staff changes here and there, but really just guys Bob Stoops has been around in new roles or former players getting elevated. Kind of an interesting point here, Barry.
It's a very interesting question, and I think the answer is no. I think that what's happened is I think people forget how far Texas has been down. Texas had a losing season. Texas had a couple of mediocre years in 11 and 12. Good solid year last year. You know, went 7-2 in the Big 12 and went to the Alamo Bowl. Down again this year with a new coach. Sooners haven't gone through anything like that. Down for OU in the last 5 years has been going 10-3 in 2011. That's their bad year. This year, if they're going to win out, I think, and go to the bowl game, they'll be 9-3 going into the bowl game. So it's not anything like what's going on in Texas. That's one of the problems for the Stoops haters, which is this: his lows aren't very low. When he takes a dip, it's a 3-loss season. It can get a lot worse. Now, some people say, hey, you need to you need to start all over. And, you know, I can sort of understand that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. But let's not pretend that the wheels have fallen off the Sooners.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that, you know, when you talk about the dip under Bob Stoops that the Sooners seem to be going through here, it's not the worst dip we've seen under great coaches at OU, and it's certainly not, you know, some of the dips we've seen at traditional powerhouses around the country. I mean, Barry Switzer had a couple years where they lost, what, 4 or 5 games?
Three straight 4-loss seasons.
Yeah, and then you look at a team like, say, Alabama. You know, Alabama a couple years ago goes through what I'm sure felt like, you know, the desert for a while. You know, had Shula coaching and, you know, not making anywhere close to top-tier bowls, losing a bunch of games. I mean, that's a powerhouse program. And I think people need to recognize, you know, today's era of football is not like even under Switzer. And as you say, you know, 3 seasons of 4 losses, they could stockpile talent. They could sign as many guys as they want. Now guys are, the talent is distributed different. So I think when we're talking about swoons, yes, I understand people are frustrated, but a little perspective, I'm sorry to say, for a lot of people, they don't want perspective, but a little perspective goes a long way. All right, back to the inbox. For Bobby, the defense needs to make some minor adjustments. Eric Stryker needs to be the middle linebacker. He has the right mindset. When he rushes from the outside, he goes too deep. I think Stryker's a great question mark right now, Barry. Are they using him the right way?
I think they are. I think as much as anything, they're making people account for him. So if he's not rushing the passer, if he's not flushing the quarterback, he's still making the offense sort of adjust to him. Eric Stryker's not a middle linebacker. I know it might be easier for Stryker to rush from the middle and be able to, you know, attack the quarterback from a lot of different angles. But your middle linebacker's got to be big and tough and physical and stop the run. And Dom Alexander's been excellent at that. He's frankly been one of OU's best players. And so you'd be robbing Peter to pay Paul. And, you know, the Sooners last year had some trouble stopping the run. We saw Texas run all over OU. Notre Dame had success doing it. Alabama, we saw, ran on the Sooners. Dom Alexander's done a great job. You can't go messing with that middle linebacker spot. Eric Stryker needs to be somewhere else.
Yeah, and I understand the frustration, though, about Stryker because he is such a dynamic player. You know, you almost want to see him involved every snap. You know, you want to see him affecting things no matter what's going on the offense, and it hasn't always happened, and I think that is frustrating. You know, when he's getting back and getting pressure on the quarterback, that defense is a ton better, but they've got to figure out some ways to free him up. I mean, I think what we're seeing here is that offenses know just how dynamic he is. They're maybe dedicating an extra blocker to him, doing some things to try to offset what he does. So those guys around him are going to have to make more plays. You know, you're going to have to see the Chuka and Dules and, you know, the Jordan Phillips maybe making a little bit more of their presence known. So a guy like Stryker isn't the focus for the offense up front, and maybe he can do a little bit more. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.